the most unhinged coaches in the NFL. Leadership, strategy, poise under pressure. Unless, of course, you're the guy who benched a Hall of Famer for Ryan Leaf, or the genius who thought team bonding meant starting a fist fight with your own quarterback. This isn't a list of bad coaches. It's a tribute to the glorious Unhinged, the men who made What the Hell Is He Doing a national pastime. Here are some of the most unhinged coaches in NFL history. Warning, watching may cause second-hand embarrassment. First up, we have Jim Mora. Mora's coaching career was a paradox of competence and chaos. A two-time NFL Coach of the Year, he led the Saints and Colts to playoff appearances and racked up 125 wins. The son of a football coach, Mora built his reputation as a defensive guru, transforming the Saints from NFL punchline to playoff regulars in the late 80s. His Dome Patrol linebacker core, Jackson, Swilling, Mills, and Johnson, remains one of the best defensive units ever. But Mora's fuse was shorter than a halftime break. After a 1995 loss, he snapped. "We stink. We're a bunch of diddly poo." A phrase so absurd it became a cultural touchstone. His 2001 coach tenure imploded similarly. Asked about playoff chances after a loss, he screamed, "Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. I just hope we can win a game." Mora's intensity fueled his teams. He once benched Pro Bowl QB Bobby Herbert for criticizing the offense, but also alienated front offices. As Colts general manager Bill Polian said, Jim's passion was his greatest strength and weakness.
Diddly poo offensively. We couldn't make a first down. We couldn't run the ball. We didn't try to run the ball. We couldn't complete a pass. We sucked. Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
Next up, we have Mike Ditka, whose coaching career peaked with the '85 Bears, then nosedived into absurdity. A Hall of Fame tight end, Iron Mike became the fiery architect of the 1985 Chicago Bears, one of the greatest teams in NFL history. After winning Super Bowl 20 with the '85 Bears, Ditka leaned into his Iron Mike persona, part drill sergeant, part WWE heel. He smoked cigars on the sideline, cursed at reporters, and once flipped off Bears fans booing his play calling. His swagger worked until it didn't. In 1999, he made the worst trade in NFL history. He traded the Saints' entire draft, plus their first rounder in 2000 for Texas running back Ricky Williams, comparing the move to getting Michelangelo to paint your ceiling. Critics called it madness. Ditka called it bold. When Williams rushed for 884 yards as a rookie, Ditka snapped. "See? The kid's a stud." But the Saints went 3-13, and Williams later quit football to study yoga and holistic medicine. Despite the chaos, players loved his loyalty. "He'd fight for you," said Walter Payton. But when Ditka fought everyone, refs, fans, logic, his legacy became equal parts brilliance and buffoonery.
All you got to do is want it as much as we know we want it. You want it that much? Let's go.
You can't play. For crying out loud! That's a bunch of crap!
Of course, there's no chance Bill Parcells isn't on the list. Parcells was no doubt a coaching titan, but his sharp tongue cut as deep as his strategic genius. A two-time Super Bowl winner with the Giants, the Big Tuna built his reputation on transforming struggling franchises. Jets, Patriots, Cowboys into contenders. But Parcells, brutally honest, often crossed into infamy. In 1996, he mocked Terry Glenn's toughness by referring to the receiver as "she," a comment that backfired when Glenn sued him for defamation. Parcells doubled down. "I've called plenty of guys worse." He trash-talked everyone, reporters, players, and even owners. His Patriots exit was pure drama. After clashing with Robert Kraft over personnel control, he resigned in 1997, stating, "They want you to cook the dinner, at least let you shop for groceries." Parcells' abrasive style worked. He mentored Belichick, Coughlin, and Sean Payton. But his legacy is a mix of Lombardi-esque success and WWE-worthy soundbites.
Phil, look, when we call the wide 10, that's who we're trying to throw to. Hey, Phil, I'll run the game.
I don't know who you're sending in.
I'm sending goal line in,
Well,
bud.
somebody give me something.
Okay. Nobody can ever tell you that you couldn't do it, because you did.
Up next is Buddy Ryan, the man who coached like he was auditioning for The Sopranos, the architect of the 85 Bears 46 defense. Ryan revolutionized NFL blitz schemes, but his temper was legendary. In 1993, as Oilers defensive coordinator, he sucker-punched offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride mid-game after a play call led to a turnover. "That's my defense you're messing up," he growled. Earlier as the Eagles coach, he placed bounties on Cowboys players, offering cash for injuring Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith. "I didn't come here to be lovable," he said. Ryan's antics overshadowed his brilliance. He never won a playoff game as a head coach, but his defensive DNA lives on in sons Rex and Rob. For Ryan, football wasn't a game, it was a street fight.
Obviously hears something and walks toward defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan, who throws a punch at him in what I have to characterize as a totally classless act.
Then there's Jon Gruden, also famously nicknamed Chucky. Jon Gruden was the NFL's version of a caffeine-addicted mad scientist, known as Chucky for his wild-eyed sideline expressions that rivaled those of the possessed doll from the popular horror movies. Gruden became the NFL's youngest Super Bowl winning coach in 2002 by leading the Bucs to a blowout victory over his former team, the Raiders. His obsession with football was legendary. He'd stay up until dawn watching game tape, rewinding plays like a kid obsessed with Fortnite. Players loved his energy. He turned Brad Johnson into a Super Bowl QB and made Spider 2Y Banana a household phrase. But Gruden's obsession with control led to his downfall. He'd berate assistants for minor mistakes and once admitted, "I'd fire myself if I could." In 2021, decade-old emails leaked where he mocked the NFL commissioner, used cringy nicknames, and made tone-deaf jokes. The Raiders, who had just rehired him for $100 million, had to cut ties faster than you could say Chucky reboot. Grundon's legacy? A reminder that even coaching geniuses should probably, delete old emails. Former players like Derek Brooks defended his coaching, stating, "He made you believe, but the damage was done." Gruden's story is an NFL tragedy, a man who conquered X's and O's but couldn't decode his own flaws.
You know what? You're like my wife when you get in space. You just get lost.
If you're not knowing what to do, you're gonna never, ever be able to live with yourself. Because you guys got a chance to do some good things.
Next up is Jerry Glanville, the NFL's original chaos agent, a mix of P.T. Barnum and a biker gang leader. The self-proclaimed outlaw stormed sidelines in all-black suits, parked a hearse outside stadiums, and left tickets for Elvis at will call, despite the fact that the king had been dead for years. He coined that NFL stood for "not for long" to remind players their careers are fleeting, then lived the phrase himself. But behind the theatrics was a sharp defensive mind. He drafted Hall of Famer Bruce Matthews and turned the Oilers into 1980s contenders. Glanville's 1990 Falcons ranked last in offense, and his feud with quarterback Chris Miller turned toxic, once stating he couldn't complete a sentence, let alone a pass. After a 1988 playoff collapse, he declared, "We didn't lose, we ran out of weird." Glanville was a cult hero due to things like his James Dean obsession, evidenced by him driving replicas of the actor's car, and some of his post-game quips such as, "Tell the Lord not to bless their hearts." Yet, his 0-3 playoff record and feud with QB Chris Miller, stating he couldn't spell cat if you spotted him the C and the A, cemented his reputation as a showman, not a winner. After a 1993 resignation, he faded into college football obscurity. Glanville's legacy is a reminder that in the NFL, you can be unforgettable and still forgotten.
Filthy football. This guy tries to blow his knees apart in the last play. That's what's going on. He tried to blow his knees out.
Rex Ryan is another coach on the list. He was the king of coach who made football fun, even when his teams weren't winning. Known for his bold predictions and even bolder defenses, Rex turned the Jets into a must-watch team in the late 2000s. With his twin brother Rob, Rex turned the Jets into a defensive force in the late 2000s, taking them to 2 AFC championship games. He vowed to kick Belichick's ass, called Tom Brady overrated, and once declared, "I'm here to win the Super Bowl multiple times." Rex wasn't afraid to call out rivals like Belichick or Brady, and his bold predictions made him a fan favorite. Off the field, Rex had his quirks, like a viral video about his foot fetish and getting into a bar fight with his brother. And while he never won a ring, Rex's charisma and passion made him one of the most entertaining coaches in NFL history. These days, he's a fun-loving ESPN analyst who still rocks dad jeans and still isn't afraid to speak his mind.
Damn, look at them
kicks over there. Those are sweet kicks, man. I mean, I gotta like those.
Finally, we have Urban Meyer. Meyer's NFL experiment was a short but memorable ride. He was a huge name in college football. After winning 3 national championships in college, Meyer took over the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2021. But the NFL is a different beast, and Meyer's college-style coaching didn't quite translate. From kicking his kicker during practice to skipping the team's flight after a loss, his tenure was full of odd moments. The man who recruited Tim Tebow and Ezekiel Elliott to college glory arrived in Jacksonville acting like he'd never met a human being before. He also skipped the team flight after a loss to hang out at a bar, which didn't sit well with players or fans. Players reportedly turned on him by week 3. When asked about team culture, Meyer shrugged. Culture is winning. The Jaguars, meanwhile, cultured their way to a 2-11 record. After 13 games, Meyer was let go, leaving behind a reminder that success in college doesn't always translate to the NFL. So what do you think? Who is your most unhinged coach in the bunch? Are there any other NFL coaches worthy of being added to this list? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on exciting NFL content added weekly.